Hey everybody, welcome to Snow Talk, although it may be Storm Talk from time to time. I'll keep the title as Snow Talk for now, alright? Because we do have some snow to talk about, not a lot, but we have some. Snowfall to date remains the same, 14.4. Normal to date, catching up, it won't exceed where we are now because the normal for the entire winter season is 12.5. Last year, though, is still ahead of the game at 15.7, and remember, we had that big snow that took place the first weekend there of March last year. On the monitoring board, I do have 3 items on the list. One will be for a changeover of rain to snow as we head into Wednesday night into Thursday. Another one Sunday night into Monday of next week. And then maybe one on the 2nd. Hopefully I'll get to that before the blog is over with. Just a reminder, this is our outlook that we had from Halloween for late winter, and the pattern would indicate more of a severe threat in the south, severe threat across portions of the Arklatex area into Kentucky, and more of the snow systems impacting more of the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast is the overall trend that we were trying to gauge at this point. This looks to be likely the setup we are going to be facing as we head through the end of February into March. Several systems, the low pressure train has stacked up quite a bit. So we're going to have quite a few systems that are going to either give us thunderstorms or rain to snow, or in some cases some weak snow systems with clippers that could come through. Now, could we still get an accumulating snow event in this kind of a setup? Yes, we can. Not going to rule that out completely, and it may very well happen in March again. But we also will see an increased risk for severe thunderstorms, especially to the south of us into Tennessee. How much of that involves Kentucky is still up in the air. But I do think it's going to be a little more active than it has been in previous seasons. So having said that, here's our system at hand that we're going to be facing for this week. So far today, all we're getting from one of the waves is just some high, thin clouds overhead. Not a bad day, really. We're 50 degrees as of last check. Now, we widen out the view. This is a 1-2 punch. Last time I talked to you guys, we were talking about this first wave would likely be east of us. That's going to happen. The biggest change from last time we talked was the second piece is going to dig in over Texas as we head into the next 24 hours is going to really deepen and then allow itself to turn more to the west of the Appalachians versus east of the Appalachians. And that usually would be a decent snow event in the middle of winter for us. But this time of the year, it usually means heavy rain and usually rain to snow in our neck of the woods. As far as the severe risk for today, it's mainly across areas of south central Texas. That'll be a weak event later on tonight. Not a big deal. Tomorrow, though, that's when that low really emerges out. I got a moderate risk out for portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama and Florida. The I-10 corridor, basically, as we head into tomorrow afternoon. And any severe risk for tomorrow, by the way, well to our south. And then as we head into Wednesday, to be in the Carolinas. Now, could we see some strong wind gusts and severe warnings potentially in Tennessee and eastern Kentucky? Wouldn't rule that out, but the threat certainly is going to be in that deeper moisture and the warmer profiles to the south and east of wave country. But it's going to be real close to us the way things are looking with that low track. So let's break it down. First off, here's the dam model. The center of low pressure as we get into Wednesday, located over Jackson, Tennessee. You can see we'll have one rain wave early in the day. We'll get a break for a few hours Wednesday afternoon. That'll allow us to warm up, and then another round. This is the one we got to watch for maybe some stronger wind gusts potentially, and that'll be Wednesday afternoon. And that wave looks to impact anywhere from E-Town to Lexington for the afternoon period. We're also going to keep an eye on this little piece of energy here across the Dakotas. This is going to rapidly dig in behind the upper low with this feature and is really going to allow for a better chance for some convective type of snow showers as we head into Thursday. We do look to be either at or above freezing. In fact, we look to be above freezing on Thursday, so the chance of these really doing a whole lot to us is going to be very minimal. Maybe some grassy, light accumulations, but maybe some convective snow showers for Thursday. We'll get into that in a second. Let me show you Futurecast. Shows you the wind arrows, the temperature. You can see later on tonight, we continue to remain partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow we'll begin to cloud up. Another day into the 50s, but we may hold steady, if not rise, with that first rain shield moving in early in the morning on Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, lots of rain in the area expected, maybe some thunder as well. We'll get a break, and then we'll see a second wave develop as we head into Wednesday afternoon as we warm up into the 60s. Now, the track of the low is going to be crucial because anywhere south and east of the path, we're talking 50s and 60s. If you're north and west of the path, 40s to around 50. And so if that path is a little more to the north and west of Louisville, that would put a lot of us in the warm air and perhaps a little more of a chance for some thunder and heavier downpours and some stronger wind gusts. If the low path is south and east of Louisville, we'd be in the cooler side of things and likely remain only in the 40s and 50s over a good chunk of wave country. At this point, there's really good model agreement that the low is going to track from roughly around the land between the lakes, right over Louisville into Cincinnati. Appears to be the track at this point. That's usually a heavy rainmaker for us, not really a severe weather producer for us, but it could be for areas, at least a potential for southeast Kentucky. We'll monitor it carefully. If you see the wind arrows, though, as we head into Wednesday afternoon, that low pressure is right over here, and you can see how the rain-snow line begins to catch up across the Wabash. In fact, as we advance forward, you see eventually it does capture the moisture as we head into Wednesday night. In fact, there is a chance, the way this is going to wrap up, that Campbellsville and Columbia and Munfordville may go to snow before Sellersburg in Indiana will. The way this warm air will wrap in, and then eventually the cold air will wrap in on the outer edge of that. So, very dynamic setup, in other words. Very unusual setup that we've seen a few times, but it's going to be a really wide variety of weather as expected if one end of wave country to the other as we head into Wednesday into overnight into early on Thursday. Then eventually on Thursday, again, mainly snow showers passing through, but we should be above freezing, especially by the time we get into Thursday afternoon itself. The wind gusts, we will watch it carefully. The wind's going to be changing directions often with the low pressure tracking over us. It's a counterclockwise flow, so we'll get the southeast flow, then a south flow, and then we'll get a northwest flow. And at times it could be rather strong. So we could see wind advisories coming out for this with gusts again approaching 40 to 45 miles per hour as we head through the entire event Wednesday into Thursday, especially on the backside of the system here on Thursday itself as it gets a little help. That little piece that dives in from the Dakotas there on Thursday I was talking about. As far as severe weather potential, we were looking at the potential for capes here, or instability. About 500, again, mainly in southeast Kentucky and Tennessee. That would be the chance for an isolated severe wind gust, more likely in that zone. As far as wind potential, I mean, there are some decent winds with this, by all means, as the low passes on by, but southeast Kentucky will take the brunt of that. I think the winds on the backside will be our strongest, though, moving through. What will be unique about this, though, is that the winds will be shifting direction throughout this entire event. This will really wreak havoc on the very saturated ground. So there could be some trees that could give way with the shift one direction, then a quick shift to the other in a matter of a few hours. Could cause a few trees to be knocked down, especially weak trees with the soggy ground and the strong wind gusting changing direction. So heads up, there could be some wind damage, not really because of severe thunderstorms, just from the winds and the change of winds combined with that soggy ground out of this entire system in general. Something we'll watch. Thursday, I mentioned that system diving down. There is a small amount of instability. I mean, only about 100 joules. That's not a lot, but enough that there could be some convective type snow showers here on Thursday. We'll keep an eye on it. The soundings, by the way, from the NAM, picking up what we call skinny cape, showing up there for Thursday afternoon. Just enough to perhaps produce some grassy accumulations. I think roads will be in good shape because, again, we should be above freezing. We're seeing that right at the zero line here on the soundings. We only have a brief break, though, because our next system moves in as we into Sunday and Monday. A lot of wind with this one as well. So another day of strong winds. I think we'll warm up into the 60s on Sunday. Then Sunday night into Monday, we get the brunt of this system, which should track well to our north this time around. This is not going to be a low moving in from the south. This low is going to track from around Chicago into Pennsylvania. What is interesting about this is a lot of the precipitation with this front is not ahead of it. So we're not as worried about severe thunderstorms, but with this kind of a setup, because the moisture is in the colder air for the most part with the Sunday night and Monday front. So this one actually has a better chance to produce more snow than rain with it as we into Sunday night into Monday. The Canadians showing the same idea. Again, here's where the cold front would be. Most of the moisture is on the backside of the system. It will be a warm, wet ground, so accumulations will be limited, but at least the GFS actually spitting out slightly higher totals compared to what we'll see this week out of the Sunday night and Monday system because we have more moisture in the colder air to work with. So I wouldn't rule out some light accumulations on Monday with falling temperatures, by the way, Monday into the 30s. There is another system showing up, by the way, on March the 2nd. Again, only just a few days break in between these. The March 2nd system, the Euro and the GFS likes the idea of this being more of a wintry setup for us. The GFS is very similar as well. We will see how this plays out plenty of time. It wouldn't surprise me if this ends up trending more north, but it will all depend on the spacing because, as I've said before, when you get systems that hit one after another, you have a better chance to create more of a wintry scenario than a warm scenario. When they space out far enough, you allow warm air to dominate, and you warm up and then cool down behind each one. And so the spacing is crucial here on these as we head into this weekend and next week. But I wouldn't rule out the March 2nd potential snow event just yet. That's why I'm going to keep it on the monitoring board for now. All right, guys, very, very busy pattern. I want to go into a lot more detail than what I could, but I got a time limit. So I was trying to spit out as much as I can over the next 7 days, but this is what's on our plate. We'll try to break it down for you in 3 minutes time coming up on the newscast. Now you see why I do these blocks. There's no way I can do this in 3 minutes on TV. We'll see you tonight beginning at 5.